Greetings, soul. I want to talk to you just for a second about how your truth, truth setting you free, truth being the main focal point of your life. It don't happen that way. I've witnessed in my life when you come into knowing the truth, you don't get set free, soul. In fact, you're in a place before you learn the truth that's way more horrendous than before you found out, honestly, actually. But there's a need for you to find out, so because if you had not found out, you would still continue to go the same course and do the same things that you always have done. I'll give you some truths that I recognize, that's over the years and just not, that's something I just try to make up in my head or something that I thought was in my head, but it's the actual truth. When you're freeing souls and when people are awakening because of what you're experiencing in your life, and when you're speaking the truth about things in society that wakes people up or that happens to people. And before I start, I'm just going to say this. I would like for you to comment in down below if any of these things have happened to you, to let you know that you're an impact or an infect or a virus to this system. Things like in the state of Alabama, First of all, I like to say about the state of Alabama, when you say you're from Alabama, born or raised here, people just, outside of this state, first of all, they have the thing in their head that, we're slow, that we can't travel and live in other areas and come back, and give to our communities. You have to get rid of that, and the experiment that they run on the people down here in Alabama, or the society down here in Alabama. You got to get out of that, if you're not from here, because we have the abilities and the tools just like everyone else is around the world. So for the people that are thinking that Alabama is slow, I've seen it on YouTube, one of the worst places, to grow as far as African American and all of this good stuff. False, false, false. And then they do the narrative of, Birmingham and Montgomery being one of the worst. They actually socialize that, publicize that, being the, one of the worst places to live because of murder. And that's true. But what about all the other things? And so that's what I'm saying, that's part of it. But once you start revealing that truth, about how society sees, where you are, then, you're being watched. The state of Alabama, for instance, goes back, beyond 2012 in taxes, knowing that you cannot go back and look back and pay that tax bracket because they set it up in the system. You can only go back so far, but every year they're charging Americans that paying their taxes every year. I've been a witness to that. Yeah, they're charging you for 2011, 2010, knowing that you can't go back in the system and look back in and get that tax refund so they can continue to charge you years prior. This is what the state of Alabama is doing to hard-working American people. If that's happened to you, comment. If you're still paying all those taxes that you can never catch up, comment. So that's just one of the things I was talking about, the reason why you have to go into the soul. Also, when I say you're being watched, souls, when I say you're being watched, if you're a truth or you have some kind of ability to impact or infect this virus, so-called the Matrix or this hologram, you're being watched. There are going to be vehicles each and every day. And I know you hate it, and I know you think, now I know this vehicle just pulled over in front of me, come beside you, watch you, look at you, and just do nothing. Those are soulless. Those are what we call NPCs. Because you know how long you've been driving on the highways, and those same people driving slower than normal with the two hands on the wheel, looking like they're, frozen in time. Now, why hasn't that changed? Why hasn't law enforcement stopped them? Well, that's because of insurance. That's because of your insurance policy. People, road rage and how to get accidents up, people are trained. Those people are trained to make accidents happen so that the insurance company continue to thrive. Oh, y'all don't like to hear that. Yeah, they're actually trained along those roads all these years, seeing these people doing these strange maneuvers, and they are the same cars and you don't ever recognize them. Well, it's time that you recognize the cars, because those are NPCs, soulless figures in your life that'll bring you distraction because you're, meant for something more important. So is that happening to you every morning on your way to work, that you see the same vehicles doing the same thing to get you frustrated? So no, that could not be true. That'll be almost like the Truman Show. That's not a real thing. I hate to break it to you. It's a real thing. They are actually doing that. So, and for your accounts, for those who are monitoring their accounts and noticing that those charges, your companies are doing these outrageous charges that you have no aware of, and you're just monitoring your accounts. All of a sudden, now you're having to, cut off your cards because now it's looking like fraud every time. It's looking like fraud because your companies that you're paying your bills to, they're double charging you sometimes. They're doing these outrageous charges that are unknown to you. You have to go to why is my bank letting this happen? Why is your bank letting that happen? Because your bank is a part of that system too. Those are people in places, non-NPCs, soulless people that'll frustrate you. Is that happening to you? When you get all these ridiculous charges that you have no business getting, and they say that they have a right to do it, and then they say they're going to fall off in 2 or 3 days, and they don't? Amazon? Amazon Prime. Because people use Amazon Prime to, do live streaming and use their videos and stuff. So they're going to get their little extra charges. Come on, Amazon Prime. Is this happening to you? So? Because you're paying every bill that you have. And all the bills that you have are adding up. And you think you're getting ahead. But some kind of way, that happens to be a charge that you don't know anything about to come up and destroy that little plan that you had of a safety net. This is what I'm talking about. Why me? Well, why not you, soul? It's time that you look within yourself to see what's the real deal about you. What are you really doing about changing? What are you really doing about waking up? And also, they say that they're demons and they're imps and, dark forces. So they're dark forces. What are we supposed to do about the dark forces? You change. You go and recognize your true power. It's what true power? Because it ain't ever stopped, and it's never gonna stop. So it's never gonna stop because of that. It's never gonna stop. They will continue. People outside of you. This system. You have people who have been going. I say this gingerly, lightly. They won't bother you. They won't bother you if you're doing the same program that's needed to keep the program thriving. But at some point, you got to know there got to be a death to the program. Christ died so that there'll be Christians everywhere, and now it's coming to an end. The truth of reality is everything that has a beginning has an end. So, whatever it is, Christians are not criticizing Buddha because Buddha is a higher power. You can't go over to other countries and say Jesus is Lord. They'll look at you crazy. But there's a higher power over there. But if you over here in America and you say Jesus is not Lord, they try to crucify you. Well, the Christian does. Because now society, and there's nothing wrong with being Christian. There's nothing wrong with being whatever you identify with. But at some point, you have to recognize the story that has been written has to come to an end. So if any of these things is happening to you and you identify with it and you want to know what to do, I'm only telling you the truth. I told you the truth really, gets you to a place to where you really have to create and really listen to what you were created with. So before I started this, what I was saying. This is Shantavian Payne. You are more than what you've been creating. So you're more than what they're doing to try to stop you too as well. I'll see you soon.